Hi, my name is Barb Nangle. I'm the founder of Higher Power Coaching and Consulting. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery.
This is episode 63, Reading People's Minds Doesn't Work. When I was first in recovery, I did the 12 steps with 3 other women using a 12-step workbook in my main program. And we did it that way because there were no sponsors in the area. And one of the insights that we gained in working together as a group is that we realized we had all been expecting other people to read our minds our whole lives, at least subconsciously. When we started talking about it, in retrospect, I could see that it was true. One of the things that we concluded as a group was that the reason we wanted other people to read our minds was because we thought that was how it worked, at least, again, subconsciously. In other words, we'd been reading people's minds our entire lives, or I should say, trying to read other people's minds our entire lives. So why weren't they reading our minds? Now, let's forget about the fact that we were not correct in reading other people's minds. That obviously didn't matter. But again, I think this was all not in our consciousness. So what is the meaning of all of this? It starts with being brought up in a pretty dysfunctional family, which is probably the case for most people in recovery. There are certain, quote, rules under which dysfunctional families operate, and these include don't talk, don't trust, don't feel, and don't remember. In this case, regarding reading other people's minds, the rule we're sticking by is the don't talk rule. Now, the don't talk rule means quite a few things, like don't ask questions when you don't understand things. I internalized that as meaning that I had to have an answer for everything, and saying I don't know was not an option. It also means don't talk about certain kinds of things, typically pretty important things like spirituality, feelings, finances, how to take care of yourself and be a grown-up, those sorts of things. So I internalized this notion that it's not okay to ask questions. It's not okay to seek clarity. When you see your family saying, or hear your family saying one thing but doing another, don't ask questions. When you have no idea what's going on around you, don't ask questions. There was just some understanding that I had to live like that. I was not allowed to ask questions like, what did it mean when he said that? Or why are we going there? I thought you said we weren't going there, and that sort of thing. Part of my recovery has included me being restored to clarity, which I talked about in episode 33, if you want to hear more about it. I didn't understand that I had a lack of clarity about a lot of things in my life until I got into recovery, and I got lots of clarity. For example, I got clarity about my own identity and my own boundaries. And this idea that I had been trying to read people's minds my entire life and had been expecting other people to read my mind. All of that was really murky for me, probably even outside of my consciousness. Another thing that I will say about mind reading is regarding my previous relationships. So what I would often do is act in a certain way, maybe pouting or giving one-word answers or being rude. And I would want my partner, and maybe sometimes even my friends, to know what was going on with me. When they'd ask me if I was okay, I would say, I'm fine. And they'd say, are you sure? And I would say, yeah, I'm fine. I didn't mean it. And as I was just working on this podcast, I realized the reason I would say I was fine when I wasn't was that I was uncomfortable with them asking me directly what was wrong. I wanted them to somehow intuit what was wrong with me. Now, there were times when they got to the root of things with me. It's not like I never resolved anything in any relationship. But this was a pattern of mine where I wanted people to read my mind because I thought That was how it worked, at least subconsciously. I wasn't used to open and direct communication with people. In fact, I was actually aghast when I saw or heard others coming right out and stating clearly what they wanted or needed or what their preferences were. It was almost like I thought they were being rude by actually saying, I like this, I don't like that, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. Now, my relationship with the sweetheart that I am absolutely over the moon in love with now is the only healthy, functional relationship I have ever had. When we started dating, I think it was our third date, he said something about, you seem interested in me. And I replied, yes, I am. You have me curious. I was 55 and I had never come out and said to a man, I'm interested in you. And I had never had a man come out and say, I'm interested in you. That was just not my experience. You just didn't talk about such things. And this includes people that I met on dating sites where it was really clear the reason we're coming together is for the purpose of dating. It was just something that you didn't do. So I'm here to tell you that if you recognize yourself in what I'm saying here, and you realize you've been trying to read other people's minds, and you've been holding people accountable for being able to read your mind, that is not how it works. If you are ever going to have high quality relationships with people, you will have to learn how to speak directly to people and tell them what you want, need, think, and feel. And you'll have to ask them what they want, need, think, and feel. The ability to communicate directly like that does not come from just the snap of the fingers. It was something that took me lots of practice over time. Occasionally, it's still difficult for me, but most of the time, it's pretty easy because I know the cost of not communicating directly. My life is infinitely better now than it was before I was in recovery. I really enjoy relaxing into my life and not feeling under pressure all the time or stressed out or playing games in my head about what am I going to say and how am I going to say it and what do they want and all that sort of thing. So I choose to communicate directly with people because I like living happy, joyous, and free. And I hope you'll choose that too. If you really need some help in learning how to directly communicate with other people, I just might be able to help you. So feel free to go to barbchat.net and set up a 20-minute free consultation with me to see if I can be of any assistance to you in learning how to communicate directly. I hope that hearing this has helped bring you some clarity and that you'll stop trying to read other people's minds because that's not how it works. That's it for today. If you like what you've heard here, then you just might be interested in private coaching with me. If that sounds like you, head on over to my website, which is higherpowercoachingandconsulting.com, and click on the contact menu. I'd be happy to schedule a consultation with you to help you make lasting changes in your life, like I've made deep, lasting changes in my life. My ideal client is someone who is ripe for change, but I'll coach anyone who wants to be happy, joyous, and free. So if that's you, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can be sure to get future episodes of my podcast. Thanks again.